So, welcome back. This is the, let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th video in my swing series, my tip series on how to learn how to do the swings, what are the mechanics, what do you need to focus on, how do you start learning how to do it. So once again, and I'm going to say this in every video, what is the swing? It's a hinge. It's a hinge, not a squat. It's not going down like this. It's this. It's a straight back, braced midsection, shooting those hips forward, walking those legs out, and becoming like this nice screw, like tight plank at the top. The kettlebell is shooting out horizontally. Your arms are not lifting. They're just stopping the kettlebell from shooting through the wall and into outer space, okay? So it's not up. You're not trying to actually raise the kettlebell up. This is not the type of swing that I teach. It's a horizontal projection of force, and then the kettlebell falls. Boom. All right. That is the swing. We talked about the deadlift, and so the deadlift is where you start with the kettlebell below you. You do that nice deep hinge. The next thing we talked about was the go back swing. So pulling it back, shoulders down and back, elbows down, shoulders are packed, midsection is braced, hinge, drive those hips forward. The next thing we're going to talk about, is the pendulum swing. So there's 2 spots to do this. There is, I'll call it the low pendulum swing and the high pendulum swing. So we're going to go over both here. The low pendulum swing. We'll put the kettlebell here. When you are going to do your swings, one thing you can do to kind of gauge your distance is you take 1 foot from the kettlebell, put the other foot behind it, and then step out. So it's kind of like one of your own feet back. When you do this hinge, the handle of the kettlebell is going to be kind of right at eye level. I'm going to rock it back, shoulders down and back. Remember, I'm snapping that kettlebell handle in half to rotate my pits of my elbows forward. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the kettlebell behind me using only my lats. I'm not going to move out of this hinge. So I'm not doing that. Actually, it's almost like if you had someone with their hand on your head, you're not going to duck your head from that hand. It might move slightly, but that's called the hike. Notice, like, when you're in this position, you're actually going to start feeling burn in your legs. Good thing, right? So now, to get to the pendulum part, I'm just going to pull it back and then let it rock forward. And all I'm doing to rock it back is I'm pulling the kettlebell back just with my lats. So it's like if you were hiking a football like that. You're not hiking the football like that. You got that nice deep hinge, braced midsection, and just pulling the kettlebell back and letting it rock forward. Again, the keys here, you got to brace that midsection, shoulders are down and back, snapping the kettlebell in half. One thing you'll notice, you can kind of let your hips rock back and forth a little bit, but you're always pulling the kettlebell back with your lats. Pull it back, let it come forward. It's okay if your hips rock a little bit. That's the low. The reason it's a good thing to practice is it helps you learn how to pull the kettlebell back with your lats, because when you start on the swing, You're pulling in the back, that loads your hamstrings, and you just boom, explode forward with those hips, squeezing those glutes tight, drive the heart through those heels. The high pendulum, and I'll just be honest with you, a lot of folks that teach hardstyle kettlebell swings don't teach the swing quite like this, but I like showing folks how to do this because they start learning how to hinge with the weight without picking the kettlebell up off the floor first. And sometimes that first movement trips people up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deadlift it in position. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start rocking my hips a little bit. And the point being is that my hips are gonna start pushing the kettlebell forward. And as I get more and more comfortable with doing this, I'm gonna start hinging back more. Kettlebell's gonna come behind me. Before I know it, I'm doing the swing. To bring it back into place. Some people can do that. Another thing you can do, and this is how you set the kettlebell down when you're done swinging. So if you're gonna let it come back, and then instead of popping back up, you're just gonna let your arms come forward. So that's the low pendulum and the high pendulum. The low pendulum is good to help you learn how to do that initial hike. The high is good to help you learn how to hinge. So notice at first, when I start trying to hinge, the handle is hitting my legs, so it's going to naturally make you hinge a little bit more. I'm not bending my knees too much to make this happen. I'm more shooting my hips as straight back as I can. And then setting the kettlebell down. A couple notes with that high pendulum. And this is something that a lot of folks get tripped up on, is whenever you come to the top here, you're in this plank, for a brief second, the kettlebell is actually kind of weightless. So if you think about, like at the top of a pendulum, for just this moment before it starts to descend, it's weightless. One of the big keys to the swing is to not resist the kettlebell when it comes back down. So you're gonna let that weight fall. You're just gonna let it fall. You're gonna keep your arms engaged. You're gonna keep your shoulders down the back. Your midsection's braced. But your arms are just gonna fall. Something good to practice is kind of like, I don't know how many steps it says, you count it out for me. So 1, get in that short stop position. 2, you've shot your hips forward, glutes are tight, everything's tight. 3, so I'm in that plank. I'm just gonna let my arms fall. Just let them fall and just slap your thighs. And then hinge. The reason I do that is that a lot of people, they want to resist. You want to resist that kettlebell. They're trying to hold it up there. They're trying to resist it. But what you want to do is you want that kettlebell to come down, 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 down. This part of your arm, your tricep, is going to start to connect with your rib cage. Right about here, when the kettlebell gets here, then you're suddenly going to shoot those hips straight back, just like as straight back, almost like they're on like a pole or a rail or something, and they can only go horizontally. They're going to descend a little bit, but just like keep that in your mind. Just before that kettlebell gets right to your hip area. They call it playing chicken with your crotch. Go figure. That last second, boom, you're gonna hinge, and then you're just gonna stand apart, boom. Stand apart through those heels, squeeze those glutes together, punch those hips together, or punch those hips forward, boom, tight plank, arms fall, out of the way. Okay. Got a little carried away, started talking about the swing, but that's because we started doing the high pendulum. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns. Just put them in the on the post. You can also reach out to me directly. But that is pendulum swings, and that is a low pendulum and a high. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.